Welcome, everyone. I'm Sherry Lewin with Thrive Claremont, and we are kicking off tonight the first of our fall adulting series. This is a program that we run throughout the year. There's a variety of workshops and opportunities for high school students to learn about what to do post-graduation from high school. And tonight we're focused on exploring colleges. I'm going to be introducing some presenters that we have tonight that are going to help you understand how you can go about just tackling the many options there are for post-high school studies. Kristine Walsworth is with us tonight, and she's going to be covering Know Yourself and Your Finances and how to research colleges. Welcome, Kristine.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
I'll give a little bit longer introduction and when they get into their sections. And then we also have Andrea Brooks with Lake Sumter State College, who's going to talk about how to approach college fairs. Welcome, Andrea.
Hi, thank you.
And then lastly, we'll have Stacy Spencer, who's here with NACAC, which we'll learn more about what that is. And they are actually putting on the big national fair that our bus trip is to this Sunday. And she'll be sharing some more details about that fair specifically and how to connect with the colleges. Thanks, Stacy.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us. All right, so we're going to begin with our materials that we have prepared for tonight with Kristine Walsworth. And Kristine Walsworth works for Collegiate Intercollegiate Innovative. I'm sorry, the whole thing was over the logo. For Innovative Collegiate Consultants, and she works with them in a number of areas related to putting students into the best option for them for college. She has had 25 years of experience in public and private school education. She teaches AP Literature and Composition at an independent international boarding and day school near Orlando, Florida. She earned a MA in English Literature from the University of Central Florida, and she has workshopped the specifics of college essay writing with Ethan Sawyer, the college essay guy, and hundreds of high school students. And I can speak to her wonderful experience because she has shaped some of the essays that my own children have written, as well as been a volunteer during our summer series, summer pop-ups nights, where she does a mini workshop on college essay writing. So we'll turn it over to you, Kristine. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm super excited to be here and to share some ideas about how to make the most of a college fair and how to get ready for that. So the first thing I think students and parents want to think about is to know yourself and your finances. And of course, as we say in our regular lives, there's an app for that. And among them are 3 that are listed here. So the College Board, on their website, you can go on and get to their big futures and take some quizzes there and just try to feel your way. Because you're more likely to find the fit that you're looking for if you have an idea of what that fit looks like. So Big Futures is one way to do that. I'm slightly partial to Niche, actually. It's an app, it's also a website, and you can log on, and there are a ton of different ways to filter and sort for colleges, to explore careers, to explore majors, and to just really think about what's going to be the good fit for you as a person and as a student. Are you a person who wants to be able to walk out the front door of your dorm or walk out the front door of your apartment and walk down the street of a bustling city, hit the coffee shop on your way to class? Is that the situation that you want to be? Or are you the person who really wants to walk out the door of your dorm or walk out the door of your apartment, smell the clean mountain air, and know that you are close to nature and ready to learn more on your academic journey? These are really different experiences. And so thinking about what those types of surroundings are going to serve you best is one key to that. And then what do you want from your campus? Do you want, my younger daughter right now is a freshman at a large university, large public university. And in her words, she is living her best SEC sorority girl life. She is. The campus is huge. The student body is huge. She loves the hustle and bustle of all of that. Is that going to be your students' vibe, or is that going to be overwhelming? And really, they want a smaller group where on their way walking to class, they're going to know people by name. We visited a university once that had an undergraduate student body of about 6,000 students, and their saying was, on the way to class, you're going to meet at least one person you know and at least one person you don't know. And that's their balance. So really think about that, talk about that. What is going to serve you well? Do you want the suburban or the urban or the rural? Do you want D1 athletics? Does it being game day make a big difference to you? Are you super interested in Greek life? Is that something that you want to be able to explore? So those are kind of filters that are in addition to the academic and that are worth thinking about. Students also live at college. They go to classes for a short period of time during the week. They do live there the rest of the week. So that's an important thing. When you're using options like this, like College Board's Big Future, niche.com, or CapEx. CapEx is a scholarship finder. Of course, as anything else, you're going to have to sign in with an email. Students, if you have not yet transitioned your email from Pink Princess 123 to Sophia Rodriguez 24, I encourage you to do that. Parents, even, you can make an entirely new email, because if your students have not started getting so many college emails, that is coming your way. And sometimes it's easier to be able to look at that one dedicated email address. So just a little hot tip there about changing email addresses and just doing a little reflection about knowing what's really going to work for you and knowing yourself. So part of knowing yourself is also knowing your finances and what that's going to look like for students and families. And as you are approaching different colleges, different universities, it's definitely worth thinking about and knowing a public university versus a private university and what that means financially. So a public university, often they are large universities. There are 12 public universities in the state of Florida, and those have benefits. Your money goes farther at a public university. Having said that, there are some other parts too. You see the A says bright futures versus private endowments. Private universities, small universities often have alumni who are big donors, and there are more scholarships available and more options for those scholarships because the school is smaller. So your chances at that are more plentiful. So I wouldn't say that you should count out all private schools because the cost to attend is just way too big. Do a little research as to what's available there and how far your bright futures will go in either place. And what your financial aid options are for those places. Your public colleges, public universities, there are 12 universities, and then Andrea might be able to tell us this later, equally, if not more, state colleges. State colleges house both 2-year and 4-year programs. Universities usually house only 4-year programs. And so it's also worth thinking about, could I start at a state college and then transfer to a university? Many of our state colleges, including our local state college, Sumter State College, have direct connect to a university. Lake Sumter State College is their direct connect is to UCF. Santa Fe College in Gainesville, their direct admission is to the University of Florida. And so it's a different path and a less expensive path to do your 2 years, your associate's degree at a state college, and then go on to finish your bachelor's degree at the state university. Many of our state colleges also offer several 4-year programs, so you might even be able to stay there. I do want to give you an example of the money difference. So when we're talking about college credits, your bill comes by per credit hour. So for example, at Lake Sumter State College, it's approximately $125 per credit hour, compared to the University of Florida, which is approximately $215 per credit hour. You should be so proud of me right now. I did some math. I'm an English teacher and I did some math. So over a 4-year span, potentially by spending all 4 years at Lake Sumter versus all 4 years at the University of Florida, your family could be saving upwards of $10,000. That's a significant savings. If you do the 2 and 2, you're still saving upwards of $5,000. So we're thinking about what your finances look like and what's going to serve you best academically, and thinking about all of your options and looking at all of them. I like to tell students that sometimes they want the name over the education, but the fact is the education stays and the name may or may not stay. And so it's worthwhile thinking of the whole package in that way. When you are thinking of finances, one of the things to consider, of course, is Bright Futures. And the Bright Futures is the student financial aid offered by the state of Florida. There are SAT, ACT score requirements. Coming soon, the classical literature test score, concordance score. We're not exactly sure what that is yet because the CLT is new. But you also need volunteer hours, either 75 volunteer hours or 100 volunteer hours throughout your high school career. And of course, you have a GPA requirement. And there are 3 levels of requirement. There's one that is related to career and technical education. There's a Florida Medallion Scholars, and then there's a Florida Academic Scholars. The Florida Academic Scholars has the highest SAT scores requirement, highest GPA requirement, and that can be full tuition coverage at the state university level. So working hard in high school pays off. It can pay off, and you should take those into consideration as you're doing your planning. The last thing on our list here is the CSS and the FAFSA. So the CSS is for private schools, mostly. It is a very in-depth financial aid document. I don't even know if it's a document. It's many pages that you have to fill out. You should only do this if the private school that you have applied to and that you want to attend requires that of you. It's not a large number of schools, but if small private is the way that you're going, small liberal arts colleges, you may have the CSS in your future. The FAFSA is the one that's going to apply to almost everyone. And I think that Andrea is going to talk a little bit more about this as well. This has a different deadline than usual because it has not opened yet. It is still scheduled, hopefully, to open on December 1st. And this is the free application for federal student aid. And this tells you and it tells colleges what your family's expected contribution to college is going to be, how much you can theoretically pay. And even if you think, oh, we are just not going to qualify for any aid at all, colleges, public universities in Florida still require you to fill it out so that they know. In addition, it sometimes is used as merit aid information as well. So need-based or partially need blind, takes into consideration the FAFSA. So the financials can seem overwhelming. It's good to know them. It's good to have started looking at them as you're looking at schools. Um, if you are currently in 9th, 10th, or 11th grade, this is a conversation that you're having. You're beginning to look at these things. You're beginning to look at the budget and see where things are going to fall. If you are a senior, this is a conversation that you're having right now and really looking at these numbers so that you know the realistic expectations of your family, you know their realistic expectations of you. And so you go forward really clear. Clear is kind. And so that's an important conversation to have between students and parents. And it's a hard one and it's a complicated one. But I super encourage you to make the time to definitely do that and talk about those finances. All right. My last part here, of course, is the first part of this statement, which is plan your work. So ahead of you, you have this amazing National College Fair to attend. And full transparency, I have not attended this particular one before. I've attended many, but not this particular one. So I'm very looking forward to having this experience of having all of these colleges there for us to explore. And since you have already done some of the work, you've already thought about what your fit would be, you've thought about size, you've thought about location, you've thought about the parameters of student life, large, medium, small, rural, suburban, urban. Do I want D1 sports? Do I want game day? Do I want Greek life? Do I want March Madness? All of these different versions that you could have. Now you know when you're looking at the colleges that are available at the NACAC College Fair, you have a way to narrow down some of the choices and narrow down some of the places that you really think you would like to attend. You can take a look then at their academic opportunities, right? We haven't talked about that, and it's college. But yes, the academic opportunities, do they have the degree you want? Do they have a major that you want? Currently, I'm working with a student who wants to be a commercial airline pilot. I'm here to tell you that in the state of Florida, the options for that are Embry-Riddle, Florida Institute of Technology, and Jacksonville U. That's it. That was a learning curve for me. So be aware, of those colleges, especially if you have a very specialized interest like that. Or if you have a broad interest, you want to be a chemistry major, the way that things go together, you dig it. You're probably not going to spend a lot of time at Full Sail, the entertainment, esports, and film college, right? That doesn't go. So knowing those things can help you as well. And thinking about your financial aid, what's going to drive you in that direction. And then you can look at the list and create and prioritize. That's one thing to talk about before Sunday. What schools do you really want to go to the table? You want to see what they have. You want to grab their information and ask all of the questions. Make that list. And be ready. Talk with your parents. Parents, talk with your students. What do you see going on there? And what do you see as a great fit for your student? Parents of seniors and seniors, senior year is a challenging, amazing, stressful, wonderful ride. It's a ride. So, hold on tight and talk as much as you can to be ready for that. Now, perhaps you're sitting there thinking, ma'am, it is homecoming week. I do not have time for this. I got to plan my outfit for tomorrow. I got to plan my dress. It's a football. I can't. Can I go with no info? Sure. I believe in serendipity. I believe in fate. I believe that with just a little bit of thought, You're going to land some places that you expected to land, and you're going to land some places that are shockingly amazing to you. And you will have done a little bit of thinking, a little bit of planning, a little bit of talking, and the experience of the NACAC College Fair is still going to be wonderful for you as well. So after you plan your work, I'm going to slide it right over to Sherry and Andrea so that you can think about working your plan.
Thank you. That was really great. And if anyone has questions on any of the slides or anything that Mrs. Walsworth was talking about, go ahead and just put them in the chat or hold on. We're going to be, after we finish, we'll open it up for any questions that anyone has. And so now I want to introduce Andrea Brooks. Andrea is the Senior Enrollment Counselor and Recruiter with Lake Sumter State College right here in Lake County. And she has both organized a college fair, was part of her responsibilities, which was actually a fair that we used to visit as an organization, but they're not holding the fair this year, which is how we found the wonderful NACAC fair. So we're really excited about that. So Andrea is going to talk a little bit about, in general, how to approach college fairs. Thank you, Andrea.
Well, thank you. Hi, everyone. Might have seen some of you at Pig on the Pond this past weekend, so hello. We can go to the next one. So first of all, I like to think of the college fair as sort of like a college trick or treat, because you're going to probably get a bag. And when you go to all these different tables, they have a lot to give to you. They have flyers to give to you about their programs and stuff like that, but they're going to give you a lot of free stuff too. So it's a lot of fun going because you get free stuff. But this is the closest that you will probably be to a lot of these colleges. Kristine kind of went over a lot of the stuff that I had as well. So thank you, Kristine. But determine what matters for you. So when you go to these fairs, you want to approach it these are my top 5 things that I need to know from the college, or else, I don't want to go there. Type of degrees is the biggest thing. Obviously, you're going to college to get a degree. So you want to know what degrees that they have. And if you have one in mind already, you want to know that they have it. The location. So some things that I thought about when I was a college student is, how far from home do you want to be? Some students want to still go home on the weekend to do their laundry at the parents' house. Some students want to just have the experience of going away. Will you have a car while at college or use a bus? I went to Lake Sumter and then I went to Florida Gulf Coast University. But I didn't have a car for my first year at FGCU. So I had to think about the fact that I had to live on campus and how to get around. So there was a bus on campus, but that is a pretty big thing to think about. Will you need to buy a plane ticket? So if you are thinking about going out of state, if you have a car, maybe you want to fly home on the holidays. So that might be an extra expense as well. So the location of the school is key, even the close ones to us here in Central Florida. The small versus large field. This was pretty personal for me. I wanted a smaller school. I didn't want the large field. Kristine's daughter sounds like she wants the large field, and that's great. But that you want to know what school is going to have what you want. Accessibility resources. So how do they accommodate disabilities or mental health, health clinic, academic and career advising? Because these are all free or resources that you as the college student are able to use. So you want to know how to access them. Financial aid, Kristine talked about this. How much money will you receive towards your tuition and living expenses? Or degree and living expenses. So that's a pretty big one as well. Sports, student life, study abroad opportunities. My sister went to FSU and never once went to one of their games, which blows my mind because, that FSU, it has football. do you want to be a part of student life? And student life is student clubs, it is the sororities and the fraternities, sports, study abroad opportunities. You could want these things, or if you just want to go to college just to be there and dedicate yourself, that's fine as well. And housing and food, what types of housing do they offer on or around the school? You might not have to live on campus. So if you don't live on campus, where are you going to live if it is away from home? And do they offer on-campus dining plans? So think about that as also an extra expense. Okay, so they're looking at NACAC's, there's a lot of colleges and universities, so it's gonna be so much fun for you guys on Sunday. But I kind of broke them down in different categories. So there are public versus private in Florida. So the public universities or public colleges, they're regionally accredited, usually by SACS. That's what Sumter State College is accredited by, which is the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. They can be more accommodating to Florida students because you have bright futures and because you're already familiar with the area. They do accept bright futures. You do have to think about and ask them about immunizations. If you live on campus, that's usually a part of the application sometimes. And so if you I'm just using it as an example, but like flu shots, is that a part of the immunization? Do you have to get that? Do you not have to get that? So you might want to bring that up and ask about immunizations if it's part of their application. For private colleges, universities in Florida, they are sometimes under a different accreditation. And the reason I bring up accreditation is because if you are going to this school for maybe just 2 years and then transferring on to another school, you want to know how your credits are going to transfer with you. So if you go to a private school and then decide to go to a public school, if they're under a different accreditation, they might not accept all of your credits. So just be aware of that. Private universities and colleges are usually more expensive. They can have religious affiliation requirements and or degrees affiliated with religion. Just know that up front. And then also ask about the immunizations. There we go. I also saw that there are some out-of-state colleges and universities and out of country, which that's amazing. Out of state, they can usually be more expensive. And what I mean by that is, yes, you can still get financial aid. Yes, you can still get scholarships. But if they have a in-state tuition versus out-of-state tuition, and you're having to pay the out-of-state tuition, you might be paying, even after financial aid, you might be paying the extra expense out of pocket. So be thinking of that as well. Bright futures is a Florida thing, so they don't necessarily have a bright futures, and they wouldn't be accepting that. Ask about immunizations, and then obviously they're further away. So that goes back to one of my original slides about would you feel comfortable about going out of state with maybe not knowing anybody, and how far it is to come home, and thinking about if you have to drive there or take a plane. Out of state sometimes require knowledge of language for acceptance. This might be at the higher level, at the graduate level, but it's worth asking. Terminology of degree, classes, and program requirements can be different. I'm trying to think, in England, they have a gap year between once you finish high school, which they don't call it high school, to college. And so they have a different terminology about degrees and programs and stuff like that. So that might be a little confusing. So if you approach an out-of-country college or university, if you don't understand what they're trying to say of this is the program or whatever, please ask questions. They want you to ask questions. They don't want you to be confused about their college. Ask about immunizations, and then they're way further away. So you'd probably be taking a plane home. Even though that's, and then online schools, check accreditation. Like I said, how will your credits transfer from these schools to another school? Residency requirements and tuition. Will you have to travel to the school during your degree? So sometimes the school is an online school, but they do have they're both online and in person. And so but you're taking the online track. So it can be a little confusing there. Pricing, how much free financial aid can you receive? So with these online schools, they might approach you maybe with loans or loan packages. But before you take the first approach or the loans that they give you, ask about scholarships, ask about other financial aid plans that you can look into. You know, when you apply for FAFSA, there are different, you can have gift aid, which is aid that is freely given to you that you do not have to repay back. And then there is aid in which you have to pay back in some capacity. So if you only qualify for loans before you take the loan, just ask about what other options there are. And then self-paced versus wrap degrees. So what I mean by wrap degrees, some schools have, you'll finish our program in 9 months, you'll finish our program in 18 months. So like they keep you on track, and after 9 months, yes, they award you your degree or certificate. Self-paced is kind of what it says. So once you finish your degree is when they award you your degree, but it could take you, 2 years, could take you 3.5 years. But you want to ask, can you take classes at your own pace, or do you have to finish in a certain amount of time? And then for those of you that maybe you have been dual enrollment or you have AP scores, you really do want to ask how those transfer in. Do they accept AB credits, and how do you send them your AP scores? Do they accept dual enrollment credits? So if you did dual enrollment with like Sumter and you are looking at like an out-of-state school specifically, or an out-of-country school, how does the dual enrollment credits transfer with you? I use out-of-state and out-of-country because Kristine said it best. We have, Lake Sumter has a direct connect program with the University of Central Florida. Your credits are going to transfer over, and they will transfer over to any other college or university within Florida. Now, when you go out of state, they will transfer with you, but they might be not seen the same way that you took them. So like if you took public speaking with us, we think of that as an English class, but they might think of that as an elective. So you want to know how that transfers. And then will they accept your diploma? This is your high school diploma. So if you did Cambridge ACE or International Baccalaureate or homeschool, how, do they take that, and how do they take it? And then you want to know for these transfer credits for, like, let's say dual enrollment, how will they be processed into your degree? Is there a limit of how many transfer credits that they will accept? Sometimes schools will have a cap of we will only take this many credits from your previous institution. And then will there be more classes I need to take before I get into the college of? Let me explain that. So with Lake Sumter's direct connect to University of Central Florida, you're guaranteed admission into UCF after you complete Lake Sumter's Associate of Arts degree. You're guaranteed admission to UCF. And the reason I put this little drawing on there is if you think of UCF as the big red circle, all the smaller blue circles are College of Medicine, College of Music, College of Engineering, College of Pre-Med, or I already said that. But anyway, so if you're looking at College of Engineering, you graduate from Lake Sumter with your Associate of Arts degree. We have an engineering path, but maybe we don't have one specific engineering course that UCF wants you to take before they get into the small circle of College of Engineering. So that means you got into the big red circle of UCF, but not necessarily yet into the College of Engineering, the small blue circle. So you want to know, what other extra classes you might have to take to get into your specific degree. Okay, this is a lot to look at. I'm not going to read them, but basically you want to be a college mystery shopper, or like I said, a college trick-or-treater, if you will. We're in October. We're recording this and you're going to get this in an email, but these are just some quick and easy questions that you can use when going to the NACAC Fair, and really narrow it down to what you want to focus on. So, not every, do you have sports and intramurals? If that does not, if that's not you, you don't care about those, then don't use that as a question, but really focus on the questions that you are interested in. And the biggest thing, like Kristine said, research the colleges before you go. But if you can't research the colleges, at least come with questions that you need to have answered that affect where you might want to go. I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Andrea. That was really great. And for our final speaker, we have Stacy Spencer, who is with the NACAC, and you're going to tell us all what NACAC stands for, because and then we're going to turn it over to you before we open it up for Q&A. Thank you,
No
Stacy.
problem. You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. So NACAC stands for the National Association for College Admission Counseling. Yes, I know it's a lot, but this is an organization of over 26,000 professionals nationally, everywhere that come together. They're coming from college admissions office, guidance counselors, some independent consultants, educational consultants, and their main focus is to make sure that they have all the resources, all the information to help students like yourself when it comes to post-secondary education attainment. All right, so NACAC supports those professionals, but then we also support students, and one of the ways we do that is through the National College Fair. So I'm a volunteer for the National College Fair. I've been volunteering with them, but it's work. Volunteering with them since 2012 as a committee member, and I've served as the national chair for going on, I think maybe 8 years now. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart. My background is in pre-collegiate assistant. So I've helped pre-collegiate students for the past 10 plus years when it's come to getting them on track for college and getting them ready. So I saw how much the NACAC College Fair helped my pre-collegiate students when I started taking them to the fair, and I saw how much it changed their lives. I saw how they were so happy to be around the college reps and to learn different things. And so that's how I fell in love with the actual college fairs. And I just want to make sure students have the exposure and the resources and the actual chance to come and experience this. So some things you could expect coming to the Orlando National College Fair is the convention center is beautiful. It's a big place. If you are from the Central Florida area, you've probably heard of the Orange County Convention Center, maybe come to an event. Sometimes they have different activities going on at the same time. But with our fair, we'll be located in the West Concourse. That's towards the back of the convention center. It's huge, so there's multiple places with different organizations and events going on, but our particular event is located in the West Concourse. We have currently registered over 180 college reps, so 180 college universities and colleges. So I'm so glad that your mentors and your teachers did this presentation for you, helping you understand how to navigate the fair, because sometimes it can be a little overwhelming if you've never seen it before, if you've never been there, and you think like 180 colleges and university. So understanding how to navigate it is very important. We also have a series of workshops. I do have the workshop list I can pull up, or you can always go to the website. So starting at 12:15, we have how do you navigate the National College Fair and your best elevator pitch speech. And that's just a pre-college fair workshop for students coming in who are new to the college fair and just want to know like what to do. And so that's like a quick 45-minute workshop. After that, we have another workshop called I Love My HBCUs. It is the founder and CEO of the HBCU Common App. He's giving a presentation on that. We have two back-to-back workshops facilitated by Rollins College when it comes to financial aid. So if you have questions about financial aid, what to do, there's definitely a place to like schedule to go to that workshop. We also have UCF facilitating a workshop when it comes to understanding the NCAA, if you want to be an athlete, or what are the type of things you need to know if you want to become an athlete. And then we have our last workshop towards the day by Florida State University, and that is just pre-collegiate and college success, like what to do to get into college and how do you stay successful as a college student. So all of those workshops, we have our in-house counseling center. So we have guidance counselors from all over Central Florida that will be volunteering their time. So if you have questions about secondary course selection, academic advising, what are the classes that I need to take to get into that dream college, you will have access to ask those questions, you and your parents or anyone that's there. All right, so that's pretty much What the fair is like, it seems like it's very long. It says 1 to 4, but actually it goes by pretty fast with all of the colleges there and the amount of time and all the people there trying to get to your colleges. So it is great to come with a plan and like a schedule of, okay, where I want to go and which workshop I want to attend and how many hours I want to attend an actual expo hall with all of the college reps. So just kind of making a plan, it'll help you kind of navigate it a little bit better.
That's great. I have a quick question, and that is, these workshops that are going to be going on, are they just sort of in an adjacent room to where the main expo hall is, so it'll be easy to find?
Yeah, so the workshop rooms, and we'll have volunteers outside. We have tons of volunteers like showing all of our attendees where the workshops are located, and the workshops is on the same floor, but it's just a little bit further down on the hallway. So it's not an expo where all the reps are. You just have to go off to the side, and we do an announcement every, like, I think 15 minutes, 10 minutes before the actual workshop.
Probably
And
have a posting of all the things that are happening.
they have the posting, and then your locator will have a list of the workshops as well. So the locator will make an announcement. So if you're on the floor and you hear the announcement, the last financial aid workshop or the first one's coming up, and you haven't been to one, you can then step out and go to it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So I'm just going to, before we stop the recording and move on, let everybody know that we do have future events coming up in November with our workshop on personal finance, which will be all about car buying 101 with CarMax, State Farm Insurance, and Seacoast Bank. And then on November 13th, we're doing a Be Your Own Boss event. And we have 8 local business owners that are going to be introducing how they came to be in business and running some roundtables on keys for success for those young entrepreneurs. So those are some of our future events that I want to make everyone aware of. And then we do have the flyer, I think, Tara, for the bus trip on Sunday. Yes. So for everybody that is not already registered to join us on the bus to the college fair, we are going to be taking registration up until probably Saturday night. And we are going, I just want to give you a few details. We have a parent plus student ticket for the bus, and we have a student only ticket for the bus. So if you want to come with your parent, or a parent obviously will be coming with a student. But if there are students that don't have parents, I will be going. Mrs. Walsworth will be there. And so and as you heard from Stacy Spencer, there'll be plenty of people there to help. But we'll be taking everyone through together. So don't feel intimidated if you don't have a parent that can go with you. We welcome you to join us as a group. That's the whole point of going as a group, so that we can have strength in numbers. Find it. We will start loading the bus at 11 a.m. We'll have sandwiches, subs. You can either grab your sandwich before you get on the bus, or you can have it once we get there. We should be leaving around 11:45 at the latest to get us there at 12:30. So you'll have plenty of time to get in when the fair opens at 1. I don't think we'll be there in time for that pre-workshop at 12:15, but you will be able to attend all the other workshops that she discussed. And then we'll be coming back, and should be back in Claremont around 5 p.m. on Sunday. So please spread the word if you know of anyone who is interested in visiting some out-of-state colleges. And I know that one of the things the college admissions always say is show interest. And I think they log when you visit them at a fair table and things like that. Make a difference if you're looking to stand out at schools. So with that, I think we're going to, I need to thank our sponsors. Most importantly, this whole program is made possible by those that have helped to fund it. Our Community Foundation of South Lake has provided the grant for the bus and the transportation. We're also sponsored by Orlando Health, South Lake Hospital, Innovative Collegiate Consultants, Seacoast Bank, the Live Well Foundation of South Lake, Automated Mechanical Services, Advent Health, Dahl Family Law Group, CarMax, Woodard & Curran, Meredith Nagel, the Legacy Legal Team, VS Consulting, and One Digital. So we want to thank our sponsors. They helped to cover the cost for the whole series, not just the college fair trip. And we appreciate them so much. So we're going to stop the recording now, and I am going to check the chat.